are live with the Mac and Murray College Football Show, recapping Week 7 of the college football season. It was once again a terrific day of college football. A lot to break down. The noon game from the Alabama-Missouri was tremendous. 3:30 spot. Indiana taking down Oregon. Georgia sneaking away with a victory against Auburn. Just finished up watching that football game. A&M wins. I mean, there's a ton of great football. We're going to break it down right now, right here. We appreciate you all joining us, whether it's on Twitter or on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're excited to share with you and break down some film all week long as well, too. So, EMAC, man, where you been all day? We'll give us your breakdown of where the ACC network was today.
Yeah, crazy weekend, man, throughout the entire landscape there of college football. But we were in Atlanta, hanging out with the Yellow Jackets, man. They're putting their best foot forward right now. Miami was off this week, as y'all know, in the ACC. So we were down hanging out with Coach Key and the boys, and they look great. Haynes King reminding everybody that he's one of the grittiest dudes in all of college football. Looked really good, out there. Actually, was pushing the ball downfield. That's something that I really wanted to see from him. But man, a couple of these massive games tonight is just time and time again. That's what we see. And we see epic games. Man, just every weekend. It's been so fun. Even if we had the high appeal from the top ranked teams and all these things, but it doesn't matter. Like college football right now is so spread out with talent and so much parity. It truly is so much fun to watch. And I got to tell you, I'm a little more chipper because my Tigers looked okay. They look good.
Yeah, I see you wearing that orange tonight, baby. I see you.
Well, I'm at home. I'm with my in-laws. This is all I got. So I got to.
We're feeling good. All right, well, let's jump right into these games because there's a lot of games we got to break down. I mean, we're going to get through all the big time games that we saw today, so it's going to be rapid fire to get this all in 48 minutes. But let's start with a game that we all just finished watching right now. Georgia on the road against the Auburn Tigers. And in classic Georgia sense, they start the game off extremely slow. The defense gives up an 8-play drive. And I tweeted this. It's hilarious because McElroy goes, a dream start for the Auburn Tigers. I'm like, I am sick, if I'm a Georgia fan, sick of hearing that blank team, insert whatever team you want, is having a dream start against Georgia, because that is essentially what we're Georgia fans keep saying. It's hard as you talk about Georgia, trying to be as unbiased as possible here. It is hard to watch Georgia football in the first quarter, and you get sick of hearing the same rhetoric. Yeah. The other team's having a dream start against the Georgia Bulldogs. You're like, why can't they just start off faster? It is mind blowing that they could be that bad in the first and second quarter. And I missed some of the second quarter because I was on a flight back from my game. And I get a text from you as soon as I landed. You said, hey, Georgia's only had the ball for 12 snaps on offense. And I was like, what? What? Awful first half, EMAC.
It was bizarre. It was an awful first half. It was a great first half by Auburn. And what is fascinating, and we're going to address officiating and I'm clapping my hands. Hey, Aaron, I'm clapping my hands. Wow, crazy. But yeah, let's stay with Georgia for a second, because it is so baffling to me why they can't start fast. Great second half. Unbelievable. 17 points by the offense, shutout by the defense. Now, again, a lot of that had to do with some officiating things and some things that were called there. But, Georgia just turns it on in the second half, and they look really, really good. Guys flying around, making plays. It is baffling to me, though. Why
they did it versus Tennessee. They did it versus Alabama.
Yeah.
And then they did it again versus Auburn. It's just, the problem is they did versus Alabama, and Alabama won the football game, and they just couldn't come back. Like, you cannot do this every single game and think you're going to win a championship. You may win a lot of games, and you may make it to the SEC championship game. You may make it to the playoffs, but Georgia will not win a championship playing this caliber of football.
Right. I agree.
It's not going to happen.
It's really weird too, because kind of the Gunnar Stockton experience, high, low, like he'll make a play and you're just like, wow, that was incredible. And then a couple plays later, you're just like, oh, what are we doing? Why are we doing that? And some of it's schematic, some of it's just the way he sees the game. And overall, though, I mean, you've got to be impressed with the fight. You've got to be impressed with, figuring it out, making adjustments. And again, a goose egg in the second half, that's impressive for the defense to be able to do that.
Well, I mean, you first half, Jackson Arnold was just running all over you, and then they were dominating lines of scrimmage and kind of really pushing Georgia around. Again, after Gunnar Stockton, obviously the defense was hyped because of the environment. They weren't playing a lot, so the defense is energized for Auburn and really took it to them. And I want to go to the end of the first half because obviously the big controversial call. I think we need to discuss a bunch of stuff that happened on the field when it came to officiating. The big one was the QB sneak before halftime. I don't know what is there's an issue in people watching it, and I'm baffled that Greg and whatever the play-by-play guy's name was could not see that the ball was moving clearly in my mind before the plane.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Or what were your thoughts? I'm not
It,
trying to
it,
be
it
biased here, but
was
it felt like it was moving.
it was very bang bang.
Yeah.
And again, they looked at it and they made a choice, and
They
they
looked at it for
said
10 minutes. I mean, they looked at it for a long time.
forever. And they said it. So I think it was as it was happening to me, it just seems like as soon as the ball touches that imaginary plane, touchdown, it's over.
Yeah.
And I think for a millisecond it did. But I
I
do
thought it
agree
was
that very shortly after it's
I
flailing
mean,
around.
it was this way one way or the other, and
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
it was this way to not getting it. Ball got punched out. It
Right.
was moving before it hit the
Imaginary
goal
plane.
line there. But I mean, is Auburn just cursed this year? I mean, you go back to the other game they lost, and some of the calls that went against them against Oklahoma, and obviously the
Right.
officiating's have the SEC sending a letter apologizing for the mistakes that were made. Then obviously there's a lot of controversial calls tonight that occurred in the Georgia game.
Mhm.
That one being obviously a big one that's going to be talked about, essentially all week long. Is it officiating? Is it just bad luck, Auburn? Because Auburn's another team too that, I mean, how many penalties they have tonight? They're like the most penalized team in the SEC, 11 for 103.
I
So
know.
between the penalties and then that massive play, just seems like the flags and turnovers are not going the Tigers' way this year,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze.
And that's a big part of it, right? It's a huge piece, but some of that's just a lack of discipline. Some of that
Yeah.
is team not executing at a high level or not doing their thing. And unfortunately that pops up and you see that in very instrumental key places and pieces. And I also think, man, and this has kind of been something that we have spoken about all season long, like Jackson had guys wide open and just was missing them. I mean, screaming downfield, just put the ball right here and doesn't hit them. So even with all the chaos, and if you want to blame it on calls, if you want to blame it on the touchdown, there still were opportunities for him to hit guys and hit them
Oh, yeah.
open and potentially touchdown and game altering things. And he couldn't do it. And as good as those receivers are, you're handcuffed. I mean, you unfortunately don't have a guy that can get the ball to them.
There are issues with Auburn offensively that Auburn fans were hoping would get cleaned up. They did not, from whether it was protection, obviously Jackson's ability to throw the football consistently down the field. You said there's too many playmakers for this offense to be kind of in quicksand right now, and they were unable to make those adjustments against a Georgia team that has struggled to stop the pass. Let's be honest, Georgia's secondary has struggled this year against teams that can throw the football. And I think that this passing attack, or at least these receivers, are just as good as Alabama's receivers, and just as good, if not better, probably better than all Tennessee's receivers. And you're at home, and you're coming off a bye week,
Right.
and you still couldn't find a way to consistently hit plays down the field. I mean, you look at all of Auburn's receivers, and only one of them, it was a tight end, had an average of over 10 yards per reception.
Yeah.
Cam Coleman,
Crazy.
7 yards per reception. Howard, 8 Perry, 9. Singleton, 4.7. There are no explosive plays down the field at all for that offense. It is all dink and dunk, run the football, and that's an issue. It's hard to methodically move a ball down the field and score a bunch of points over and over again. You got to get some chunk plays, and that's what Georgia was able to do in the second half. They were able to get some chunk plays.
Right.
The nice to see Noah Thomas finally make a big impact and make some catches and make some plays down the field. So, for Auburn, there's things right now through 6 games. You're 0-3 in the SEC that just don't seem to be in a spot that they're going to get corrected after 3 straight losses. And these are 3 teams that are, at the time we're all ranked in the top 10, around the top 10. But now you face Missouri, who's a good football team. So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, what are your feelings before we move on? What are your feelings on Hugh Freeze? I mean, is this kind of we're getting to the end of the cycle for him? Is this kind of getting pretty tight when it comes to the hot seat talk?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of warm seats across the country right now. I mean, you look in the state of Florida, you look in the state of Alabama, you look maybe up north a little higher, and it's really expensive up there. It's a fascinating time, man, because I think there's a couple of factors. Much more money's involved, right? Like there is a heavy investment in these players that these coaches are saying, these are my guys, this is what we need to pay them. And then some of those players aren't doing what they're supposed to. There's coaches that have the most talented rosters that they've ever had that aren't living up to the hype. And then there's just losing and not being able to get it done. And people get sick of that, man, with the transfer portal and NIL and being able to flip a roster and go get whoever you want, really. I mean, you can go get anybody you want if you have the means to do so. And people aren't going to sit around and wait anymore. It's not, there is no excuse anymore, Aaron. And I know he's been there a couple of years now, but there's no more excuse of, we've got to wait till we get this class developed and get them going. It's all dead now. It's all dead. And so,
yeah, I think the problem is he's an offensive guy too, and the defense under Durkin is balling out this season.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense is doing everything they need to do to win games, and Hughes' baby, the offensive side with all these 5-star playmakers, is not getting it done.
Correct.
At all.
And I think that's the furious part too, is when you are a head coach and that is supposed to be said specialty and the specialty ain't special. That's when, again, it gets super, super short.
Don't worry, Zach. We got a lot of good quarterback breakdowns coming down this week. I got like 6 or 7, so I'm really excited to break down a lot of these quarterbacks throughout the country. So Georgia escapes, gets out of there. Listen, a win's a win. Georgia's got a million things they need to continue to work on both sides of the football, but you'd rather make those corrections after winning a football game, and Georgia's still obviously alive when it comes to everything that need to accomplish the season. And going on the Plains, a night when they were celebrating Cam Newton, good for the Dogs to get the victory. On to Ole Miss next week with a top 10 matchup as the Rebels travel to Athens, Georgia. All right, one of the biggest rivalries in college football, the Red River Showdown, was not a lot of fireworks for sure. It was a defensive battle. That's something that we thought it was going to be. 2 elite defenses, 2 offenses that have struggled to protect, 2 offenses that have struggled to run the football, a young quarterback in Arch Manning, a quarterback that we didn't know was going to play or not playing, John Mateer, coming off a surgery for his thumb 17 days ago. It's supposed to be a month. He's doing it in 17 days. And it kind of played out somewhat close to what we thought. Obviously, Texas had more success offensively running the football, and Arch played really well. But when it came to more like a defensive struggle for most of the game, it is what it is. And I'll say this first, and let you get your big thoughts in afterwards, Emac. John Mateer should not have played in that football game at all. He is a dynamic athlete that puts his body on the line, that goes balls to the wall, gunslinger mentality. And you could tell that he was protecting himself, and he was not the same. And you cannot be out there playing like that against a defense like Texas in a game like this, because you put yourself at risk and you put your team at risk. And he put his team at risk with a bajillion mistakes throughout the football game. And I blame the coaching staff for playing him. He should not have been playing in that football game.
I agree. I completely agree. And you have to, if you're the coach, you've got to protect the player. What else is he going to say? I'm ready. I'm good, coach. I'm ready. Like he wants to. He wants to play in that game, and I do think that was a bit of a mistake here. I think that you should have looked your defense in the eye and say, "Are we good enough for this unit to win the game?"
Yeah.
And guess what? If you don't have all those picks, and one of them was a pick six, you probably are. You probably could have been. If you're able to have any type of offensive presence, moving the football, getting it up and down the field, that I think you could have had with Hawkins. I truly do. I think that there would have been enough there of him running the football and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, give Texas all the credit in the world. They sacked that dude 5 times. They were in the backfield all game long, getting their hands on the football, tips or picks, great plays by the defense time and time again, which I did not expect to see that. At all. I don't know if we've necessarily seen that type of effort and production matching up, but that's what you expect in these rivalries. You expect people to play outside of their mind. You just don't know who it's going to be. And I've got to give credit to Arch as well. We've been super critical about that dude, and he's deserved it. But he
Yeah,
was
but I think
very
we've been more
efficient.
critical about the guys around him than necessarily all
For
on
sure.
Arch. I think
For
we've been
sure.
very fair for Arch in his assessment
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
he's
I don't
not
think
playing well,
overall.
but he also doesn't have support around him either.
Right. Right. But he looked good, getting the ball out, distributing it well. Anytime you're 21 to 27, I mean, that's good. That's high efficiency.
Well, the fact that Oklahoma only had one sack
Field.
too.
Correct. So
Yes.
he's moving around. He's aware of it. Obviously, they ran the ball pretty efficiently as well in a game of this, magnitude here. And it's still the same struggles that you have pointed out for weeks on weeks in. Oklahoma can't run the football. Without John Mateer being absolute Superman, they've got nothing in regards to the run game. And that finally caught up to bite them. And listen, outside of the injury, I didn't know if, he ever would not be able to. But it was very clear that tonight, or excuse me, this afternoon, 14 rushes, 5 yards, and again the sack yardage taking away from that as well. He shouldn't have been out there. I totally agree with you on that point.
I mean, I'm being honest when I say this. Like, I'm worried that this Oklahoma team, yeah, they were kind of everyone's sweetheart to start the season, but the issues that we saw throughout the season. And let's look at the wins. I mean, they beat Michigan, who, I mean, looks like a great win, but they were facing a freshman quarterback on his first road test against that defense. They beat Auburn, who's now 3-3. So, like, they've looked good through the 5 wins, but who have they faced? And then all of a sudden you face a Texas offense that has struggled all year. Arch has not looked elite. Offensive line has been giving up pressures and sacks and inability to run the football. Then all of a sudden in this game, Texas only gives up 1 sack.
Right.
Texas runs it for 136 yards with 4 yards per carry. So, like, am I saying that Oklahoma's bad or that Oklahoma's defense is bad? No, I think Oklahoma's defense is still one of the best defenses in the country. But the offense has issues in not being balanced that reared its head out. And maybe the defense isn't as good as we thought because, once again, Michigan's not ball busters on offense.
Sure.
Auburn's not ball busters on offense. So it goes back to my preseason thoughts about this team. I think they're a good team.
Right.
I still don't know if I believe Venables as a head coach. And I kind of had him as an 8-4, 9-3 football team.
Right.
And right now, when I watched them play today versus Texas, a struggling Texas team, and yeah, I get it's a rivalry game, and yeah, I get the fact that Texas is on the ropes and hungry dogs fight harder and run faster, whatever you want to say. But that defense should have played better for 4 quarters. They didn't. Yeah. Arch was 21-27. Arch had the best game of his career against your defense.
Yeah.
That's
well, and I think too, you got to give Sark a lot of credit. Like he was being very creative with the cadence, which obviously Arch is doing that, but the snap count, trying to get those guys off center, tempo at different times, pulling back, like going at different speeds, just to never really get them anything going, and just getting the ball out quick. And when you can run the ball, you just don't allow people to tee off. And I thought Texas had a great game plan, and they executed. And again, I never in my life would have guessed that they would have had more sacks and that they would have forced, Mateer to throw 3 picks. I mean, that's
the second pick was so stupid. That's on Venables. That's bad. Sure. I mean, partly on Venables. Like they just kick the field goal.
Right.
And then obviously on Mateer, what the hell are you doing throwing that football like that?
It's a bad decision. A bad decision.
It was a just overall bad football game from Oklahoma, and in a position where you could have, I felt like played a lot better and dominated, and had an opportunity to win the football game. Instead, you lose 23-6.
Right.
And give Texas, obviously, once again, I'm not trying to take away from Texas. Like Arch, you looked great. He was decisive. He moved around well. He was accurate on the move. Really excited to break down his film. The defense was flying around playing like the defense that Texas thought they could be this season. But once again, I think we may have just hyped up Oklahoma a little bit too much
Yeah.
and overlooked some of the flaws, and then obviously them benefiting from what their schedule was early on this season with some of the teams that they did play. So massive win for Texas because they're still in it. If Arch can continue to play like that, if the defense continues to play like that, you look at their schedule: Kentucky, Mississippi State, next couple games. Win a couple more. Vandy, obviously winnable. And then they got Georgia and A&M down the stretch.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
it feels like, when you said they're not out of it, I kind of twisted my head for a moment, but it is true. I mean, this
yeah,
league, the SEC is wide open. I
wide
don't think
open.
anybody is thinking, and
I mean, it's not
maybe
like
they are
Georgia
thinking
impressed you
Bama,
tonight's offense, like, oh,
right?
Georgia's going to beat Texas. Like, I don't
Right.
know that.
I know. I know. It is wide open, and you don't know who is going to win any given Saturday, truly. And
Yep.
so maybe they are. Maybe we have a ton of 2 and 3 lost teams in the playoff, and that's great because that's
Yeah,
that's good football. That's hard, deserved it, earn it type of football, and maybe we do see that. That would be fascinating.
I agree. All right, let's get to the ACC real quick. I did not get my eyes on this one, but you're wearing your Clemson orange, so we got to talk about Clemson because it's back-to-back games when that offense and that football team got going against a struggling
Yeah,
BC.
say
But
it.
hey, you know
Say
what?
it.
Give Clemson their flowers. They ran for 226. Cade had a good game. So give that's I said I didn't get my eyes on this one yet, but I'll let you kind of give some love to the Tigers and their performance tonight.
Well, again, I did this last week. I'll do it this week. They played the second worst team in the ACC, and they did what they should do.
Yeah,
But breaking news: we hadn't seen them do what they should do all
true.
year until these last 2 weeks. So it is nice and it is refreshing, to see that. The only knock that I do have is I just want to see them finish better. Like the second half, the last 2 weeks, it's like everybody's checked out, move on. And now they did score the touchdown late to make it 41-10, which on paper it looks nice. That's a nice looking score there. But I just want to see them finish a little bit stronger, a little bit better. I
Yep.
will say, Cade, back-to-back games look fantastic. Push the ball downfield. They ran the ball very nicely, which was kind of a knock I had on the North Carolina game. Got a bunch of guys involved. Cade looked kind of like his old self running the football. But the defense also put on a show. I mean, you had guys in the backfield, 5 sacks, finally, Aaron. I've been
Finally.
begging and screaming for these guys to do that. They look great. Guys flying around, forced a turnover for the first time in a long time. So we'll see. They've got SMU next week at home. At the 3:30 slot there, SMU team that's much improved, hasn't lost a regular season ACC game in the history of the school. So we'll
Right.
see. SMU's feeling good when they come to town next week.
Speaking of not losing conference games, Oregon can no longer say that they are undefeated in the Big Ten. Let's get to some Big Ten matchups because there are some good games, in that conference today. Indiana, the freaking Hoosiers, Google me, Mr. Cignetti, go on the road to Eugene. And I tell you what, I know ESPN's our employers. CBS with some of their camera views looked, and I don't know, maybe it's just the stadium. It looks so good. I've never been to Eugene. I would love to go to a game in
Nice.
Eugene. It looked bad ass. The scene there, just a really, really cool stadium, really cool environment. But to go into that environment and for first off, for that defense for Cincinnati to only give up 13 points, because 7 of those points were a pick six. I think the ball was a little bit tipped there.
Yeah.
But to give up 13 points against Dante Moore and the speed of that offense in Eugene, we can talk about the offense all we want and Mendoza and all that. But I was thoroughly impressed with the way Indiana was able to dominate on the defense side of the football
Yeah.
and win that football game, get to 6-0, and prove that, hey, boys, we can play a physical brand of football. We can play a defensive brand of football. And there ain't no more questioning if Indiana is one of the best teams in the country.
No, I totally agree. And we said that. We kind of put it with an asterisk. Listen, if they take care of business,
Yep.
they will be awarded and rewarded on the McEnmurray poll. And these guys, think for sure, are going to pounce straight into the top 4, maybe a little bit higher. We'll see
Yep.
where we kind of land on them. But I was very impressed with their second half specifically. All game was fun, back and forth, some good physical play there. But the second half, they took it to another level on the
Yep.
defensive side of the ball. Did not allow Oregon to get anything going. Um, and Mendoza just was carving them up. Now he had the one play there where the corner did a great job. It was a big over route, and that corner was just right on his hip. He saw the ball, he made a
Mhm.
play, pick six. But the team responded, and they were able to make it happen, man. And Indiana just here we go. I think they're better than last year. I think they have more
Mhm.
dynamic pieces, and obviously getting this huge. I mean, this is Aaron. This is the biggest win in Indiana history ever.
Yeah.
They have never gone on the road and beat a top five opponent ever. And they got that done with Sig and the boys there. Really impressive to see that.
I was so the big question mark that we had when we did our preview show was Oregon's defense. Has both these defenses have yet to face an offense like they're going to face this weekend.
Correct.
But neither defense has faced an offense that can throw the football, that have elite playmakers on the outside, that have accurate quarterbacks that can push the ball vertically down the field. And you saw Oregon with their young DBs
Yeah.
struggle mightily. The Elijah Sarrett, the number 13 for
Hey,
Indiana,
a bad
I
boy.
mean, one-on-one, the body control, like the back shoulder fade touchdown, it was like any time that he got singled up one-on-one, Fernando Mendoza's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you're gonna leave him one-on-one? Okay, like, easy peasy." It's like kinda when I had AJ Green. You wanna give him me one-on-one with him? Okay, easy completion. We're gonna run back shoulders, we'll run slants, we'll run stops, we'll run go balls, like, whatever it is, and Elijah was just that guy tonight, and
Yeah.
obviously, he is a top receiver in the country, and what he did on the road and the connection with him and Fernando. And let's not forget, this is their first year working together, those two.
Right. Right.
And to see that chemistry is obviously very encouraging if I'm a Hoosiers fan, but it is also a little bit worrisome if I'm Oregon, knowing that some of the teams that you are going to have to face this year, and especially if you do make it to the Big Ten championship game and into the playoffs, are going to be able to throw the football.
Yeah.
USC is one of them that you'll face down the stretch. Obviously, if you do face Ohio State in a Big Ten championship game or in the playoffs, they throw the football extremely well with those receivers. So there is some growing up to do for Oregon. Not saying that they can't get there, obviously. This was their first test, and yes, they failed it. But they're going to get better and better and hopefully learn from that because Dan Lanning's a great defensive coach and a tremendous defensive mind. But Indiana won that battle because Indiana had the same question marks. Could their defense hold up against the speed and talent of Benson and obviously Dante and Moore and the running backs for Oregon? And they answered the bell. They did. Like I look at Indiana and there's not a lot of holes in that football team
Mm-mm. It's fun
at
to
all.
watch. It's
Very
fun to watch.
impressed.
Great balance. And again, it was a fantastic game. It got a little one sided there towards the end, but it was a war. It's what you want to
Yep.
see when you have these, top 10 matchups and big time games, big time, programs that we expect. And again, huge credit to Indiana because I was like, are they going to be ready physically enough? Are they going to be ready from a speed perspective? The answer was yes. They
Yep.
absolutely were, and they had a great plan too, and they just executed. That's what you love to see as a football fan is a clear plan in place. Here's what
Yep.
we're going to do, and then go out and do it, and go
Yep.
out and execute it. And guys not being afraid of a moment. Like there was some times there where it was freaking loud, a bunch in some
Oh yeah.
really key situations, and you just saw Mendoza. Okay, here we go. All right, bam, deliver a
So
strike, and
good.
then you're just like, man, that's big boy football.
Bo in the chat says, Coach Cignetti, man, how is he not the first choice for Arkansas? Coach Cignetti ain't going to Arkansas. Let me tell you that right now. He ain't not going to
Hey,
Arkansas.
Bo, we love you, dog. Thanks for
We love
listening.
you, Bo, but like Sig is going to go to Florida,
You don't like
which
Tyson chicken in Walmart, man? Come on, dog.
I mean, if they want to start throwing some NIL money like Nike does to Oregon, maybe. But until then, like I
Blank
think
check
Sig.
from
I mean,
Walmart.
it's interesting. Like obviously, he's built consistency. It's been back-to-back years now. He made the playoffs last
Oh,
year,
yeah.
year one. They look like obviously a playoff caliber team right now, and are going to be in the top 3 or 4 when the AP poll comes out.
Right.
I mean, is Cincinnati, or excuse me, is Indiana a place where you can consistently win? Or is this like his moment to like, hey, Sig, like you do it this year, ball out, make it the playoffs back-to-back years, and if a big time job comes open, you gotta take it, man.
Yeah, it is a fascinating question in this new world, and is Indiana committed to the max rev share pot that they can give football, which is that 17 whatever million, 17 and a half million or so to football? Are they going to get facilities? Are they going to get this and that, kind of in there? If so, why not? Why
Yeah.
can't you win? He's got a track record. He obviously can develop and mold quarterbacks into monsters. And so that's a big deal, man. And winning matters recently, especially with getting to the playoff. The next step, obviously, is winning a playoff game and doing some damage in the playoffs. But it is a fascinating question that these players are dealing with, clearly, going to the portal or not. Coaches are too. When
Yeah.
you're rising and you're escalating, is this just a stop, or is this somewhere you want to build and try to, create a long lasting legacy?
I just think it's a resource thing. I think it's a question of, do you truly believe that the resource is there for long term and not just for a couple of years, but for long term, or do you need to go somewhere where there's are going to be resources going forward? All right, let's go to the place where he may be the coach come next season. We just brought him up. Texas A&M hosting Florida, and A&M wins 34-17. Let's start with the winning team here, because my big question marks heading into this game was, how consistent could Marcel Reed be?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen him play well, we've seen him have some really good moments, but we've seen him be a little bit up and down with the accuracy. And I was thoroughly impressed with Marcel tonight. I thought it was one of his best games throwing the football. Besides the interception where I think he got a little bit fooled with the coverage. But other than that, he was accurate. He was decisive. He ran the ball when he needed to run the football. 37 yards on the ground as well with a touchdown. I thought it was a very smooth operation on both sides of the football. And I know they've had some really nice wins this year for A&M, from the Notre Dame win. You can say the Auburn win and the Mississippi State wins were nice. To me, I thought this as a football team, offense being efficient, defense doing what they need to do, was probably their best game of the season.
Right.
I think they're hitting their stride at the right time right now against a Florida team coming off a massive win a week ago against Texas.
Yeah, no question about it. And even just the confidence of that first drive, ripping it downfield. And Florida goes on a great drive, scores, and, everybody's kind of like, uh-oh, as Florida figures something out here. And what do? Just take a freaking shot, big boy post, really
Mhm.
impressive throw. And then Marcel scoots into the end zone by himself. And like you said, it was just game control. It was flow of the game. It just felt like A&M was in the zone. It just felt
Yeah.
like they were doing their thing, and the defense gets a bunch of sacks. Defense creates turnovers, gets the ball out. And methodically, we see this team run the ball very well, 4.5 yards per carry, right under 9 yards per completion there, per attempt. I was impressed. I agree with you. I think this was their best game, and it probably came at a very nice time, especially with what Florida just did to Texas, to where you're like, okay, we're feeling good. Marcel Reed, our great quarterback's getting some confidence. Let's go into this thing sprinting into the back half of the season here to feel really good about what we're doing.
Well, and I think they need the confidence, because what has A&M done for years? They start off strong, they come out guns blazing, they win all these games, they kind of fold in the second half of the season. And I
Right.
think that they are built, I think, a little bit differently this year, where the defense has really come along since those first couple games. I think the offense now is multiple, truly multiple, with Marcel, and Craver can absolutely fly. You bring up that poster out. That dude was hauling ass.
It's fun.
Obviously we know how good Concepcion is. But it still starts up front, and we said it during the preview show. Like, this offensive line was the number one offensive line according to PFF rating. They showed it once again tonight, because the one thing Florida is a physical football team on both lines of scrimmage. And at the end of the day, when you look up and see that, hey, our team ran for 183 for 4.5 yards per carry, and then Florida only ran for 74, 3.1 yards per carry, and that you're able to dominate the lines of scrimmage that much on both sides, goes to the brand of football that they want to play. And then on top of that, to have Marcel playing at the level he's playing with those playmakers as well, makes this a dangerous football team.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be like, this is one of the best football teams in America. It is one of the most balanced football teams in America. And there's a few of them. Obviously, Miami's extremely balanced.
Yeah.
Ohio State's extremely balanced. I think we had to throw A&M into that conversation too. Indiana showed us incredible balance tonight by the way that their defense played against Oregon. We talked about that. But A&M is playing at elite levels on both sides, and
Yeah.
they should be obviously in the conversation, and they are, as maybe the best team in the SEC right now.
Right. Right. And especially because they haven't lost, right? Like we have
Yes.
to remember that's important. And then that's a really big deal. And, you mentioned those line of scrimmages. And, I think Miami's kind of in a category in their own. Indiana might be getting close to that. A&M might be getting close to that. Listen, we saw, I keep bringing this up, what Florida did last week from a sack perspective, from a tackle for loss perspective, reestablishing that line of scrimmage. A&M handled that. 0 sacks,
Yep.
0 tackles for loss, and averaging 4.5 yards per rush. That's big boy football. I mean,
Big boy
that's
football.
what you want to see. That's expecting to lean on your boys up front, allow them to go eat and cook. And let's be honest. Let's look at A&M's schedule right now. The rest of the way there, they've got Arkansas coming up, which tough battle, sure, but you feel fine about that. An LSU team that I think is just struggling right now. I
Struggling.
think,
Garrett
figuring
Nussmeier
themselves
is
out.
a liability right now at quarterback. I don't. That
Can't
is
push
one
it
thing
out.
that I never thought I would say, but he's a
No,
liability at the moment.
no, no. Mizzou just lost. South Carolina struggling. Sanford, and then you're at Texas. Let's crank it up and go, baby. Like this is a really nice schedule, and I
I think
think
it should be
again,
at least 10-2, if not better than that,
right?
based on the
Why
way they're
not?
playing, what
Why
everyone
not
else is
run
playing.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Well, I
question.
mean, I
No
still think
question.
Missouri's a good football team. You're on the road against Missouri. I thought Missouri.
Sure,
We'll get to
but
that game against Alabama, but like
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think at minimum you need to be 10-2. Like this team is a playoff team, and I would be and A&M fans should be extremely disappointed if this season turns out to be like other seasons where
yeah,
they fold at the end
yeah.
because they are better. They're better coached.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, at a minimum, 10-2 should be a playoff football team, if
Got to
not
stay healthy
11-1
too.
in the
That's
SEC
always
championship game.
a big thing. Staying healthy, keeping guys up.
Yes.
There's a little luck, when you're making these
Oh
big time
yeah.
runs. There's a little luck involved with some of that too.
And obviously, Florida's kind of starting to run out of their luck a little bit after a great win. And I thought DJ played. I thought he played well in the first half. Obviously, had some accuracy issues in the second half. I mean, the first half it felt like a quarterback duel. He's throwing
Right.
great footballs.
Yeah.
He's throwing some go balls up and over. I was like, damn, man, DJ looks like DJ. Marcel's having himself a game like this is going to be a track meet, and it kind of stalled out there at the end of the first half and into the third quarter, and just Florida does not have the same kind of juice, unfortunately, that A&M does. I still think Florida's a good team. I know the record
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily show that at 2-4, um, but they just did not run the football like they did a week ago against Texas. And I think that is still, as DJ's still getting into form, you need Jaden Ball to be more of a 1 to 120 kind of game for them to truly be in games like this.
Yeah.
If Jaden Ball is only rushing for 65 yards, I still don't know if DJ right now in his form can carry a football team against a great defense on the road like that. And he
Yeah.
had moments,
Sure.
but not fully there where he can just put the team on his back,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And
I agree.
this was a moment where you were hoping, if you're a Gators fan, you could take the momentum from Texas, win that one, go on the road, win another one. But now it kind of feels like Billy got some false hope a week ago, and now the rug was pulled under him once again.
It's what it's what they're a little bit used to. Let's go to Como because this game was sick. It was really
It was a
fun.
great
Again,
game.
very similar in regards to what we expected. Wanted to see two really good teams playing at a high level. I want to start on the Missouri side though because we're seeing this show up with Alabama, and I'm a little concerned. And I want your opinion before I dive into it. 4 sacks again for the opposing team against Alabama, 2 weeks in a row now. Is Ty holding on a little too long? Is the offensive line not that great? Which way do you
I mean, I gotta do my quarterback breakdown, so I'll know more when I kind of
take
dive
a
into the
peek at it for
film.
me? Take a
Yeah,
peek at
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Ty's going to be on the list of quarterback breakdowns once again this week. But I mean, he still had a great game. I mean,
You
23 to
did.
31, 203 touchdowns. I mean, he's on a different level. There's a few
Fun to
elite
watch.
quarterbacks in college football right now. He's there. He's probably, we're gonna have to do. I think we should probably do our Heisman, Heisman favorites at some point this week.
Yeah.
To me, he would be my number one Heisman pick right now. The way he's playing, I don't think anyone's playing better than the way the number 15 is playing for the Crimson Tide. He's been accurate. He makes big time plays and big time moments. That fourth down throw rolling to his left, absolute dime on the sideline. He's spreading the wealth around. I mean, his top receivers was Brooks today,
I know.
and Horn was number two. Jeremy Bernard only had 3 for 20. Ryan Williams had no catches.
Yeah.
So like he's having these games without even his top guys having to be involved.
Right.
That just shows you how much of control he is or has within this offense right now, that he's able to just say, you know what, you're going to take him away. You'll take him away. I don't give a damn. I'm going to go here, and just dice it around. And then obviously Jam has been great the past 2 weeks. They're running the football a little bit better as well.
Yeah. And he left the game in the fourth quarter with a head injury. So that's going to be fascinating to watch with Jam, just because that was the big thing that we were talking about. Okay, here this comes. Are they going to become this balanced attack and now have this really good run game as well? And if that goes away, again, hopefully it's not super, super serious and they were being a little, caution or having some caution there. But that's something to look at too. Missouri also obviously a very good run team. And we talk about how great, Hardy is. They did a pretty good job. I mean, of bottling them up, 50 yards. I mean, that's his lowest by far. But the fact that they were averaging, 6 yards a carry, little bit to be interesting of. Just
Bo had some explosive runs. I still think overall, it was a good performance by the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, they gave up a late touchdown, but I think overall, you should be really happy with where this defense was week 1 to where they are now, because this is a really good Missouri team. It's a really good offense, and it's a defense too. We said earlier in the week, it's a defense. You bring up the sacks with Ty Simpson, but this Missouri team has some of the best pass rushers in the SEC. They can get after the quarterback. Eli went out there in the portal the past 2 years and got Damon Wilson, who had two sacks. You see Zion Young, very talented off the edge as well. Darius Smith. I mean, they have guys that specialize in speed, power, get off on the snap, get after the quarterback.
Right.
And to me, that's the big question with Alabama was Missouri's going to be the team that's going to make Ty a little bit uncomfortable. How does he handle not sitting back there feeling like it's 7-on-7? I think he answered the bell, and I think they answered the bell as a football team on both sides, because I think Missouri's still a playoff caliber football team.
Right.
I think this is a team that can get to 10 wins, maybe even 9-3, and be in the conversation to be one of the 12 teams. And it's a quality win. I mean, now all of a sudden you look at Alabama, you say, okay, you won the road and beat Georgia. You beat a quality team in Vandy a week ago, and then you went on the road and beat Missouri. They've answered the bell.
Yeah.
And I get it's not the Alabama of years ago where every game's winning by, 15 to 30 points and it's dominant, but no one's doing that in college football. No one.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you bad. It's just the way it's the nature of the beast. They're winning games and they're improving, and I think they look pretty damn good, which is why I got them in my top 4 still.
Right. Oh, still? Do you still have them there?
Listen, you wanted Oklahoma ahead of Alabama last week when we did our top, okay?
Yeah. I don't like punishing people for hurt players, man. Come on.
He played.
We'll see. We'll talk about that. I think this is a decent transition. I want to touch on this really quickly. FSU's killing me, man. Oh. They're killing me. We've had a handful of people in the chat over here talking about FSU. I don't really know what the problem is, because it's kind of the Georgia thing a little bit. Like, they mess around, they play with their food, they come roaring back, and then it's just like there's not enough time, they don't have enough gas in the tank, whatever. And it's so weird. And the fact that they just lost to Pittsburgh, who had a true freshman quarterback that diced them up, it's not good. It's not good. I'm questioning some effort sometimes. I'm questioning the players that they have, that they do not have an elite pass rusher at all, and that is killing them. There's some issues. Now, they had a lot of guys out today too, which I don't want to make too many excuses. Deuce Robinson didn't come back in the game. That's by far their best player. There were 3 other receivers, a handful of guys on defense. So they were a little bit of a shell of themselves today, but still, you have to step up and you have to play at another level, and they did not. They did not do that. So FSU, sadly, in a bit of a free fall right now after having that amazing win week 1 over one of the hottest teams in America in Alabama right now.
0-3 in the ACC
look at since that. I know. It's horrific. It's horrific. And you look since that Bama game, Bama skyrocketing. FSU just absolutely free
And
falling.
the one thing we
Do you want
praised
to
them
talk?
after that win versus Alabama was like, man, this team is
I
focused. You
know.
know, even against lesser opponents,
Well,
like
they
they're
were
going out there
physical. They got after
and
Ty.
doing
They
things.
stopped the run. I mean, stuff they just have not done since then. I mean, it's really, really bizarre. I do also want to give you a second to talk about your friends at Ohio State because they really like talking to you, man.
Haha. We'll hit a little. I think there's two teams we'll hit real quick before we get out of here. And both inside the Big Ten, because I think there's two more big wins there. And obviously, I don't think either of us are surprised by Ohio State. I think we both anticipated them
Yeah.
winning this football game. Um, they continue to look good on defense. I think that's the biggest thing right now is, we knew the offense would figure it out because of the playmakers.
Mhm.
Obviously, Bo Jackson and what he's done this year has been tremendous at the running back spot.
Yep.
Julian Sain has been awarded the ability to continue just to get better and better and better and better. But I think the story for Ohio State is this defense.
They're electric.
They've been lights out, man. They have been absolutely lights out. And Illinois is a quality offense with a veteran quarterback, some good playmakers on the outside. And once again, Ohio State makes everyone look bad
Right.
defensively.
Yeah.
And it's we talk about complete football teams. Ohio State is that on both sides of the football right now. So definitely give them their rose. And the other team that we had to talk about too, real quick, is USC, because I think everyone in the country, until you prove it that you can win a game in which it's a heavyweight boxing match and you got to be a big boy at the line of scrimmage, until you do it, it's hard to trust how good USC can truly be. And tonight, they against Michigan were the more physical team, and Jaden Mayava was special yet again. And we knew he could be special because he's been great all season, one of the best quarterbacks in America. But it was, can you be the dominant team in the line of scrimmage? And they had 224 yards rushing,
Yeah.
and Michigan had 109.
Yeah. It was
You would
impressive.
think it would be the other way around.
We did. We 1000% thought that, and you got to give a team credit when they can do that and they can make it happen. I thought the same thing with Ohio State. This defense is very, very good. I mean, they are playing at such a high level, and you've got obviously Caleb Down in the back doing his thing, just an absolute baller, freak of nature. And I'll tell you one guy, Caden Curry on the defensive from the defensive end position is playing at a really high level right now. He is flying around, getting his hands on the quarterback, stopping the run, tackles for loss, batting balls down at the defensive end spot. They've got dudes everywhere you look. And now I thought the offensive production would be, a little bit higher today. I thought Julian would throw the ball all over the yard at a really high clip. I do want to give credit Illinois for being really physical on the edges. But at the end of the day, this team just continues to find ways to embarrass people, and they do it a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it was impressive as always. And now Ohio State does not face a ranked team the rest of the way. Besides, I guess Michigan.
Interesting.
Besides
I
Michigan.
thought that was only an ACC problem. That's in the Big Ten too.
Yeah,
That's weird.
it's all based on your
Super
scheduling in the Big
strange.
Ten. All right, well, that's it. We appreciate everyone. A lot of people watching us on Twitter. If you are watching us on Twitter, make sure you jump over to our YouTube channel at Mac and Murray. Go over there, subscribe. We have so much great content from our preview shows, recap shows, quarterback breakdowns. EMAC is breaking down lines of scrimmage play too. A lot of really cool educational stuff. So go there, subscribe. Also follow us on our social medias at Mac and Murray CFB Show. We appreciate it. We hope everyone had a terrific Saturday here at week 7 of the college football season, and y'all have a great rest of your weekend. See